All right, let's kick it.
Happy Sober Day, friends, and welcome to the Sobriety Diaries. My name is Nate, and I am a grateful recovering alcoholic. That may sound crazy, but I wouldn't be where I am and helping others without it, so for that, I am grateful. The Sobriety Diaries is a video podcast where we talk to other recovering alcoholics and addicts. We hear their stories and hope to help others who may still be struggling. Don't forget to pop over to Instagram at the Sobriety Diaries Pod for your chance to win our content creator bundle. We will announce the winner on July 12th. But let's get down to the business at hand. Today we are chatting with Saundra from Tacoma, Washington. Hey, Saundra, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Nate?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I appreciate you being willing to spend time with us today and sort of be open and honest. What made you decide to share your story?
Well, I'm in a couple different community blogs about sobriety and recovery, and that helps me stay sober. And so if I can share my story with people and just help a couple people out, then I mean
Yeah.
that's what I get in return as well, is just being able to help people. It's nice.
Right. I learned early on that, you have to give it away to keep it. So I am here for the same reason.
Yes, I
So
love it.
we share that in common. Do you feel like your sobriety is in jeopardy today?
I don't actually know. Today's a good day.
Awesome. Well, with that said, let's open the diary on Saundra. Take it away. Tell us your story.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll start with when I guess alcohol is my drug of choice. And around 21 in college, I would say was when I really started getting into drinking, and just the culture of that. You're not really like an alcoholic if it's social drinking, and it's unfortunate because I think that's what really kickstarted my addiction was it being acceptable, and not really learning how to like actually cope with feeling sad or depressed or your emotions. And so then I went to college in Ohio, and then at Ohio State, and then I moved back over here to Tacoma, and around 25, and I was drinking really heavily every day, all day, and it eventually, it catches up to you, and I got a DUI. And getting that DUI, I think that it saved my life, because I really realized just how bad it was, and how much I was abusing alcohol, because people that really have like that type of clarity don't just like get in the car while they're intoxicated. And so here in Washington, they have when you get a DUI, you have to do like a year-long outpatient program, and
wow,
it's really time consuming, and it's extremely expensive too. But being around other people and staying sober and getting drug tested regularly, that helped me stay sober for about 2 years. And then unfortunately, I relapsed at about 27, 28. I stopped working a program, and I thought that I was okay and that I didn't really have a problem anymore. And so I continued drinking. But when you're really an alcoholic or an addict, like that problem stays with you. And so I eventually, it took about a year for me to get back to where I was of drinking all day, every day. And it was just affecting almost every aspect of my life, my work life, my love life. I couldn't stay sober, and it had physical as well as mental effects. So I was, got the shakes, just all that stuff. And Yeah, last year around this time, actually, I called a facility here in Washington and I was like, I think I need to go to an inpatient program because I don't like living like this. My mental health was like, with COVID and everything. And I had taken a month off work because of COVID, but really that was just an excuse for me to drink every day and
Yeah.
not have to work and worry about going to work. And I told myself in that month that I was gonna get sober on my own. And then the month flew by so quick and I was drinking every day and I had to go back to work and I was like, I can't do it. And so I checked myself into a detox program. And then I was in an inpatient facility here for about a month and a half. And I got out in July of 2020. And it's changed my life. And I'm so grateful to be sober again. I can't imagine life without it. And it's difficult sometimes having to like actually face your troubles head on.
Yeah.
Without the alcohol or whatever the substance is that you're choosing, but it's worth it because you actually get to dive into those problems. So there are some programs that I work right now occasionally when I'm not super busy, but doing things like this, it helps to just maintain my sobriety.
Great.
Yeah.
First of all, I live in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Go Bucks.
Yeah, you said that like in your first sentence, and I didn't want to interrupt you like right off the get, but I live like 3 miles from campus.
Oh my gosh, I love living in Columbus. Columbus is amazing.
Yeah, that's exactly where I am.
That's so cool.
So let me ask you, I work a 12-step program, and I hear in the rooms of people who have some sobriety under their belt and then go back out to do more research that it's it's never enjoyable because you're sort of thinking about the sober time and what you learned maybe in a program. Or did you find that was true for the time that you went back out drinking? Were you able to have fun, or was it sort of like misery drinking?
Yeah, it was fun at first, but then, and occasionally it would be fun in between the misery, but then eventually it was just maintaining, trying not to feel like crap every day.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly just, if I didn't drink, I would have severe withdrawals. And that's when I had to go to detox. I didn't think that I needed detox, but yeah, it was fun at first, but I know now, having the clarity of sobriety, I'm like, that's not really, I just think about the times of when I was drinking and I'm like, I was actually kind of obnoxious.
Weren't
probably,
we all? Yeah.
With my other drinking buddies. I mean, maybe like with them, it was fine, but like looking out on it, I'm like, that's just not who I want to be. And that's not really me.
So drinking buddy wise, did you maintain any of those friendships, or did you try to distance yourself?
I had to distance myself. I did that the first time. A few years ago after the DUI, I had to distance myself. And then this time too, I've also had to do that. And people are really supportive. There's been a couple times that I've went out with friends that drink, and it's just not really for me. It's not even that it's really like triggering, but it reminds me of that feeling like, where are we going to go to get our next drink? And that mentality, like, I'm really empathetic. And so when I see other people like that, I feel like I'm in that position again and I'm like reliving it.
Yeah.
And so that's difficult for me. But the people that I do have everybody's supportive. I've never been just like, you're not in my life anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that is my friend now, they understand. Everybody knows about my addiction and my ups and downs with it. So they're supportive of me not really being as like engaging with them now. So that is nice. And everybody should have friends like that,
right,
that are just supportive of it.
Yeah, I think that's for me, and it sounds like you're similar. You know, I have to surround myself with people that will be supportive and sort of have that, you know, base of people and that lifeline that if you do need help, you know, you have someone to call. It's not just all, you know, drinking buddies in your contacts. So I can relate to that for sure. I'm pretty empathetic too, and I take on other people's like stuff sometimes.
Mhm.
But as alcoholics, you know, we used alcohol as our primary like coping mechanism. You're happy, you drink. You're sad, you drink. You know, what sort of new coping skills do you use?
Well, I found meditating helps a lot. I've I've been doing meditating. YouTube has some really great guided meditations,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people, at least I thought you have to just sit there and like meditate, but you can meditate however you want. Like I like to lay down and listen to a guided meditation, and there's so many different ones. There's ones about reaching your higher self, and um, I try to control that empathy that I have, because being an empathetic person, it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
And just having to control that, and like there are times when it's okay to be your extremely empathetic self, but there are other times that you need to try to control that and harness it. And so I've just meditating has helped with that, because I think that's probably why, one of the reasons why I, relied on drinking so much, because I thought it helped with that. And it just didn't. I think it confused me more and just made it even worse. I'm not as active in 12 step, but I plan on, now that the restrictions have been lowered a little bit and more
Yeah.
people are vaccinated, going to 12 step programs. Those help out. Just being around sober people
Yeah.
is always nice.
Yeah, I love it. Was there a moment that you kind of just threw your hands up and surrendered? I know you called the treatment facility, but was there anything leading up to that triggered your surrender?
Yeah, just like my life was not okay. I didn't have control over my drinking anymore. My drinking had control over me, and I realized that it was a full-time job. It was like maintaining my addiction every day became priority, and I couldn't do it anymore. I had so many goals and dreams and ambitions, and those little moments of being, when I did have just a little smidge of sobriety here and there, I would be able to stop and realize that. And I was at my friend's house, and I was like watching her apartment, I think at the time, right before I had checked into detox. And I was supposed to go back to work the next day after that month off, and I couldn't go back to work. And I told my manager that, and she was disappointed, and just seeing how my drinking was affecting other people too, and how she was sad and disappointed. And I think that she knew why. And I'm like, I can't do that to people. I don't like hurting other people or making other people struggle because of my addiction, because of my choice. And that was like the real moment, I think, again, that I was like, I need to change this, because I don't want to hurt other people anymore.
Have you had a chance to repair any relationships that you think you did hurt or fracture?
Yeah, there's been a few people. So definitely my partner, my significant other. I don't know how we put up with it. Honestly, there's been some damage control there, and it wasn't all at once like a big apology. It was like little apologies here and there, and like clicking like, oh my gosh, I used to do this. Like, I'm really sorry that I was, like an asshole.
Yeah.
I still do really want to reach out. I've talked to my manager and I've seen her, but that's something that I don't think that I'm completely ready to just like sit down with her and have that talk yet.
Yeah.
And that's something that the 12-step program, it does teach you when you're ready and when you know it's not going to harm the other person. And yeah, I'm not ready yet, but
Yeah.
that's.
You will be.
Have you made some amends?
I have, yeah. It was definitely a process, and I got through them all. So I don't have any, existing ones to make. So that is a great feeling. Sort of closing my eyes at night and not having anything sort of lingering. But yeah, it definitely. I certainly was not ready to do them all at once. But yeah, hopefully, if I work my steps appropriately, I won't accumulate any other ones to make.
Yeah.
What's something new that you've learned about yourself in recovery?
They're things that I've known all along, but I didn't have the confidence, I guess, to explore those feelings. But I would say that I'm capable of doing so many things. Like when I really put my mind to something, I can just get it done. And I didn't have that confidence before. I can control my emotions better. Being empathetic, I've always thought like this is just how I am and I have to take on other people's emotions. And I've realized that's not how it is. You're not just stuck where you are. Like I would get into this feeling of when I was, in active addiction, that you're just stuck and you just have to deal with how it is. And I just have this feeling of like, no, like I can change things. Things aren't just the way that they are. You do have the ability to make changes, to change even yourself, to adapt to any situation, which I think that kind of goes along with the confidence thing.
Yeah.
I also like to volunteer at food banks and just do things that are outside of myself and things that I would have never done when I was in active addiction, things that I always wanted to do, like helping people, because that's a constant reminder of what I can do now and what I wasn't able to do before and why I need to keep maintaining my sobriety. I keep trying to learn more, to set new goals. I set a new goal every couple months that I give myself a few months to accomplish. And meeting. I think that going to meetings, especially in early sobriety, is important. It might not be for everybody, but there are so many different types, and there's just so many out there. If you don't like one meeting, that's not how they all are. Like there's a different meeting. I think the first time I was really sober, I think that's what my problem was, is there was one meeting that I went to all the time and I didn't really care for it that much. And I thought that's how they all were, but that's not the case at all. There's so many different meetings out there.
So many different formats, demographics. Some focus more on the spirituality than others. I mean, it's across the board. So
yeah.
To your point, there's something for everybody. What do you hope that people hear from you today on the podcast?
When you're in recovery and when you're sober, it really does change your life, and you can do amazing things in life. It really does get better. It's not going to be perfect, and sometimes it does suck to have to deal with your emotions and your troubles head on, but it's so worth it. It's worth it to just have this clarity, and really you can do anything. And I know for me, I put so much effort into maintaining my addiction that now I have all this energy to maintain my sobriety and better myself, and it's so worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I had plenty of time to drink every night after work and all day on the weekend. You'd be so surprised at what you have the time to accomplish.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
A lot of time.
Do you have any family with a history of addiction?
I do. Yeah, both of my parents, I grew up with my dad. He raised me. My biological mom, I think she might still be in active addiction. I'm not quite sure, but I know they both do have a history of addiction. And my dad, he's struggled with it on and off. Um, I think his drug of choice was also alcohol for a long time, and he got sober, and he's able to maintain his sobriety in different ways. I don't really think he goes to, meetings or does any programs too often, which, whatever works for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's nice being able to talk to him about that, because we really do understand each other when it comes to that. And
Yeah, I was talking to another alcoholic earlier, and it's just amazing how people that you may never think that you would relate to or have anything in common with, and if you share the disease of addiction, it's like it just can bring you so close. And it's just so funny how we're willing to share like the most personal, intimate details about ourselves to people who get it, and people who have that lived experience and like can understand what you're actually saying. So whether it's your dad or this stranger, for lack of a better word, who I was talking to earlier today, there's a commonality or like a bond, I think, that we can share and understand each other. What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for my sobriety, of course, but I'm grateful for new opportunities and love. And that sounds kind of corny, but when I was in active addiction, I just thought the worst of everything. I was really in a dark place, and because I was in a dark place, I just saw just the worst in everything and every person. And now I see the potential that we all have, and that it's a really good feeling. And I'm grateful for being closer to my higher power too. That's not really something I've talked about, but that has helped me with my sobriety. Is I've found my higher power, and it's more spiritual.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for my higher power, which is source, which is life, which is like everything.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that, and for getting closer to my higher power, because when I'm closer to my higher power, I'm closer to every living thing on this planet and other people, and that taps into the empathy just a little bit.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah, I think that one of my goals is to sort of detach the stigma that the 12-step program, I think that we both probably attend, is religious as opposed to spiritual, and that you can sort of carve out your own path as far as spirituality goes. There aren't any rules or regulations, and so I'm glad that you brought up your higher power. I have been able to find a higher power as well, which I'm very grateful for.
I think that my first bout of sobriety, then they were more like Bible religious, and now I know that that's not the case. That there are programs that are more spiritual based, and there are so many different types of programs too. That if you do your research, there's so many different types of programs some are more spiritual and meditation based, and those ones might be for other people.
Yeah, there is something for everyone.
Yeah.
Any words of hope to leave our listeners with?
I guess just thanks for listening to my story, and me at one of my most vulnerable states, because when I was in addiction, I was extremely vulnerable, but life gets better, and it's not perfect by any means. You do have to work really hard, but it's worth it when you do get that sobriety, and and things get better. They do.
They sure do. One thing, you had mentioned that you set goals for yourself. You want to share any of your goals with us today?
Yeah, I would. Um, when I got out of treatment last year in July, I set a goal for myself. I graduated with a degree in criminal justice, and I made it a goal. I want to go to law school and I want to be an attorney. And
Amazing.
so I set a goal for myself. I quit the job that I previously had because I kind of needed a clean slate. But that wasn't what I wanted to do. And so I went out there, I filled out so many applications for law firms in the area, and I started working at a law firm. And I work at a really nice law firm. It's just my life it's changed so much, and now I'm applying to law schools, and those are goals that I set for myself back in July. The first one was get a job in the legal field, and I did that. And then the second one was to do the LSAT, get that done, and I did that. And now the next one is applying to law school. And so now I'm in that process, and it's just happening. But I try not to overwhelm myself.
Yeah.
So that still is important. Don't fill your plate up like too much, but give yourself little goals that you know that you can accomplish. So that's what I try to do.
Yeah. Smart.
Mhm.
Well, good work. Congrats.
Thank you.
Sounds like
Thanks.
you're on the right path.
I'm trying.
Well, we talked about meditation, but do you sort of practice any other like holistic healing properties or anything related to your recovery?
I guess not too much. No, mostly meditation. I guess I just try to take care of myself.
Yeah.
Honestly, I will I'll go out of my way and just take care of myself. Like I'll get facials and do things that I would have never done before, and because that's important to me. I just take time out to do things that make me feel good. And I'm saving so much money now that I'm not buying alcohol constantly.
Amen.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So spending money here and there on, little things for myself, I don't feel so bad about it.
Yeah. Good. Well, that brings us to the close of this episode of the Sobriety Diaries. Thank you so much for listening today, friends. And huge thank you to Saundra for being so open and honest. Hopefully you heard something that resonates with you, and if we help just one person today, our job is done. You can find us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts, and youtube.com/Nate Kelly, where we upload today's video podcast. Bounce on over to Instagram at the Sobriety Diaries Pod, again, where you can register to win our Content Creator Bundle giveaway. Our winner will be announced on Instagram on July 12th. If you'd like to share your story with me, reach out at the Sobriety Diaries Pod at gmail.com. Check back soon for new episodes with new stories to tell, but until then, try your best not to drink and be good to yourselves. Bye, friends.